Welcome everybody to our council and committee of the whole meeting for September 12th, 2023. First of all, I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory and that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Métis. For the open session, can we have approval of the agenda?
I have an addition under department reports in regards to the renovations of room 124 in the municipal complex.
Okay, we'll put that number 9, renos at the municipal office. Anything else? Hearing none, any disclosures of interest? Hearing no disclosures of interest, we'll get right into the meeting. We do not have any delegations. We moved our question period to here. And Nathan, you got any?
No questions.
No questions, so. Minutes of the previous meeting, resolution 283-23, moved by Councillor Bryson, seconded by Councillor Bourgeon, that minutes of the council and committee of the whole meeting held July 25th, 2023 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Any business arising from the minutes? Committee of the whole recommendations. Resolution 284-23, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Morrow. The council authorized the write-off of property taxes in the amount of $76,381.06 for the following property tax account. Roll number 58510000307400. Municipal portion 71,869.38. Education portion 4,511.68 for the total that I read. Discussion?
Marlene, that amount's changed from the July meeting?
From the July 25th meeting, yeah, it was based on the closing date of July the 27th, but the sale didn't close until August the 10th.
There you go.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 285-23, moved by Councillor Bourgeon, seconded by Councillor Bryson, that council accept the quotation from Bandani Motors Limited for the purchase of a 2019 Silverado truck in the amount of $40,509 plus applicable taxes. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 286. Dash 23. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor McGrath. The council authorized the sale of the Schreiber Fire Department 2003 Ford F-450 truck to Fort Garry Fire Trucks in the amount of $30,000 plus applicable taxes. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 287 -23. Moved by Councilor Bourgeois, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that the council of the Township of Schreiber support the resolution of the town of Halton Hills with respect to reducing municipal insurance costs. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Accounts for payment. Resolution 288-23. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that bank debits paid out of the general bank account in the month of June 2023 in the amount of $31,794.37 be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 289-23. Moved by Councilor Bryson, seconded by Councilor Bourgeois, that bank debits paid out of the general bank account in the month of July 2023 in the amount of $49,207.78 be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 290-23, moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Bourgeois, that checks issued on the general bank account in the month of July 2023 in the amount of $674,133.92 for general accounts payable be approved and ratified. Discussion?
Mayor, I just wanted to point out that that amount includes the payment to Main Rehabilitation for the Ontario Street project of $459,000. That's why that amount seems rather high than what we would normally have.
Yeah, I looked that up too. Okay, we're all good with it? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 291-23, moved by Councilor Bryson, seconded by Councilor Bourgeois, that bank debits issued on the general bank account in the month of July 2023 in the amount of $92,934.46 for payroll be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 292-23. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that checks issued on the general bank account in the month of August 2023 in the amount of $388,103.76 for general accounts payable be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 293-23. Moved by Councilor Bergeau, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that bank debits issued on the general bank account in the month of August 2023 in the amount of $62,324.29 for payroll be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Move on to unfinished business. Resolution 294-23. Moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Morrow, that the Township of Schreiber bursary in the amount of $500 be awarded to Maria Costa. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 295-23. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bergeau, that council authorize a donation to the Township of Terrace Bay in the amount of $500 for the Lighthouse Festival. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Move on to other business. Resolution 296-23. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that bylaw 35-2023 being a bylaw to provide for the regulation, management, and maintenance of the cemeteries of the Corporation of the Township of Schreiber, known as the Schreiber Cemetery and Worthington Bay Cemetery, be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 297-23. Moved by Councilor Bergeau, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that bylaw 36-2023 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Township of Schreiber, and Rosalie Evans for the position of acting clerk be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 298-23, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Morrow. That bylaw 37-2023 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Township of Schreiber and Clo Darling Limited be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion?
I just wanted to make sure I have my numbers right. Nathan, originally, this quote, because this is for our arena project, right? It's got that we've actually got funding for. Our original quote for the on-demand heaters and the storage tanks, and that was 135, and the infrared was 56. So we've actually come in underneath
I believe so.
both original quotes.
Could you
right?
confirm that, Tammy?
Yes, when he gave us the quote originally for the grant application, he took numbers that he was quoted on, and then when it got serious for the RFP bid, he went out to tender to see if he could get the same product at cheaper prices. So he was able to sharpen his pencil.
Nice. And all the pricing in there, of course, includes taxes in there, so it's shown with the 13% HST already integrated into it, to a total should be 167,832.
Okay.
Hearing no more, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 299-23. Moved by Councillor Burgeot, seconded by Councillor Bryson. That bylaw 38-2023 being a bylaw to authorize the corporation of the Township of Schreiber to enter into an agreement with the Federal Economic Development Agency for Northern Ontario, FedNor, for funding support for the development of a strategic plan and community profile number 8851-514878 be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 300-23. Moved by Councillor Morrow, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that bylaw 39-2023 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the Township of Schreiber and the Older Adult Centers Association of Ontario be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion?
Nathan, you do want to briefly, this is the first time we're seeing this, so we want to briefly just talk about this program was?
It's a successful application for a fair, so they're providing $2,500 that will be put towards a fair. And we've done a fair, I believe this was under a different program, I believe it was last year, and it was quite, or maybe earlier this year, which was quite successful, and they used it as an information session. So they're looking towards doing this fair on Feb 7th, and I'm sure they'll fine-tune and finalize their agenda and what's included on it, and hopefully another good information session, whether it be on estate planning or maybe even bring the OPP again on planning for scams. I'm sure
Right.
they'll finalize the agenda with the senior committee.
Yeah, so that's part of the qualification for the funding is to have a committee to run the fair. So-
Nice.
So that'll probably be members of the senior committee. It's all good.
Good opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you for that. Now we're moving to the committee of the whole part of the meeting. Department reports and committee board minutes. Number 1 is the treasurer report, the budget variance report as of August 31st, 2023. Everybody have a chance to look at it?
I was able to download it. I haven't had a good look at it, but I'm sure if I've got questions, I can always get a hold of Marlene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the quarterly report will be in October with the
Yeah, they're
review
me
with the
and
department heads.
Yeah, we were,
Marlene and we were talking, and it'd be quarterly. Every quarter will be a status report
More
along
than-
with the variance
for
report.
it. I think, yeah, every quarter's enough. I mean, we don't want this to be like a lot of extra work. That I think every quarter would be fine. And your comments on the last report were like so helpful. Like it really meshed together well.
Does council still want these financial reports monthly or no?
I think the intent was to just do quarterly, because
Okay.
Save you some work.
the commentary is really the, I think substantial portion in terms of explaining why things are a certain way, right? Because ultimately, there's a rhythm of payments coming in at a certain time and when they're expected and whatnot. So what may seem early on as, oh my goodness, why is there such a deficit here? And of course, you're comfortable with that, Marlene, because you know that payment
Yes.
will be coming in at an expected month's time, so
Okay, so we don't want
Yeah.
these on a monthly basis, just
No.
quarterly?
No.
Okay, perfect.
I think
For sure.
quarterly.
Yeah, I think
probably
quarterly is
best.
enough.
Quarterly with your status.
With your status report, so that was super helpful.
yeah, that was one of the things that jumped out at me in capital was where's our revenue, like, it was all zeros for our revenue, so I talked to Marlene
Mhm.
and she was able to clarify that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
but thank you, Marlene, for the report.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, number 2, Director of Operations report, the status update.
This is a hefty one.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Yeah.
Tammy, do you want to provide some highlights? There's been a lot of work that's happened over the summer.
Yeah.
We have accomplished a lot. I guess we are talking with Aqua concerning getting ready for the 2024 budget and their capital requests. I had a meeting with them August 30th here in council chambers. It was a 4-hour meeting, but it was very worthwhile having. It was very productive. We have accomplished a lot of our contract work that was in the 2023 budget. Most concerning that I can probably red flag for us is the winter equipment is not ready for the road yet. We're still having trouble with the plow truck. It's been towed to Thunder Bay for diagnostics. Nobody seems to be able to find out what's going on with it, so we're still kind of hanging in the balance for that one. The grader, they've got the parts, they're working on it. It's not complete yet, but I'm more concerned about the plow truck, getting that sander in town. We'll
Yeah.
probably need that before we need the grader. The medical center building has been repaired. The splash pad washrooms are all done. They look great. If anybody has strolled by there, take a peek in those. They've really cleaned up nicely.
And thanks for the pictures, Tammy, that was really helpful.
Perfect. For the memorial bench program, we have.
Oops, sorry, I just had I had one question about
Okay.
that. We're closing those washrooms for the winter, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We'll have to turn the water off, and, because
Okay.
that's the only, there's no heat in it, so we have to winterize.
Okay, sorry, okay.
Have we, since we're on the splash pad part, washrooms, have we scheduled a closing date for the splash pad? I
I think
understand he's gotta come from,
we are expecting Ed from ABC Recreational. They're going to do a training with our staff to winterize the splash pad, how to blow it and all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, who was that, Tam?
Ed Sebastian from ABC Recreation.
Okay.
So I have contacted them. He does have plans to come up. I just don't have a concrete date for that yet. I expect by the end of September.
Like
Yeah.
he'll fix like the pressures and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the guy who does it?
Yeah,
And he can probably train the guys on that too, no?
yes,
Oh, okay.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I believe our guys have already had a conversation by
Yeah.
phone with Ed to work through some of those issues.
Okay.
But they will be doing a complete reprogramming. He knew he had to do that when he came back, so that'll all get taken care of at that time.
so heavy. Would the washrooms be getting shut down at the same time?
I would recommend it.
Might as well, right? Do them all at once?
Yeah.
Because the playground will still be there. I mean, you can't use a splash pad, but the playground will still be there, so we'll have to think of that, but the cold weather's coming, so.
I would recommend making a date and picking that date to winter, have everything
do-
winterized.
to
Your
do
ball
them both.
field, your
Yeah.
splash pad, like all of that needs to get blown out and winterized. So we are talking about taking the tent down very soon. The guys are gonna be washing that, pressure washing the tent, and
Thank you for that, because that was mentioned to us at one of the, what was it, Benji, that people were talking to us about that,
That was the little street fair.
the little street fair, yeah, so we
Mhm.
appreciate that, yeah.
yeah, it's really been a focal point, so it was a good decision, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's about all. I'm working on getting some information on our garbage collection. I've got a meeting scheduled, so we're moving forward with that. I'll have a
Okay.
full report for you at next meeting.
next meeting?
Pest control, that's gonna be up at the museum too.
We will do a full treatment in the fall. We're just waiting for the product to come in.
And that's been effective in the past, right, Tam?
Very effective. That's
Okay.
been the most effective, I understand, yeah.
Did we do one in the spring, Tammy?
We did, but I was late on that treatment
Oh.
because we weren't seeing them. And the last time I treated the Discovery Center unnecessarily, it brought the pigeons to the location. So this time I didn't put treatment there, but by treating, other places in town, it forced them to go over there anyway. So this time I'll do a full treatment, because I did notice a pile of them up on top of the CP building there on Brunswick.
On the station?
Yeah,
Part of the planning is you gotta understand the pigeon psychology.
yes.
Pigeon psychology.
Where's their hot spots, where they wanna hang out.
I'd just like to mention that episode that night that we got hit with the lightning strike at the water treatment plant.
It was handled
Just
very
to
well.
some people that everything ran the way it was supposed to. I can't say enough about the Aqua crew and Automation Now. They were on the job first thing in the morning when they realized they had more issues. They couldn't get the plant back online. And hats off to the town too for putting on that conserved water order, because it was taking a lot longer. They seemed to be finding a couple problems. And the water was going down, and it's the way everything was supposed to work. I mean, we didn't want to get hit by lightning, but it worked the way it was supposed to. And so I'd say hats off to everybody that was involved with that, and to the people of Schreiber for conserving your water, because without you guys not listening to that order, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're going into a boil of water again, and we don't want to. So
No.
thanks a lot to everybody.
And it was handled very well. I mean, how can you plan for that? But obviously we have, because it really went off the way it was supposed to.
Perfect.
So then, number 3 is Director of Operations report the expenses for that night.
Well,
First, we got a recommendation here. That the council of the Township of Schreiber accept the expenditure request from Aqua in the amount of $18,776.62, including taxes for the various parts at the Schreiber water treatment plant.
And that's 4 work orders too.
yes.
Yeah.
Not all of them were lightning strike related.
No,
But necessary.
Yes.
Necessary. And so this is just going to be absorbed into operational costs, right, Tammy?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, so we're good with that, bring it forward for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Director of Operations report for the cemetery tree removal.
A recommendation here that council accept the invoice from I'm not pronouncing it, Mikalos Tree Custom Saw Milling Services in the amount of $12,300 plus applicable taxes.
So they did a little extra work over and above the
Yeah.
original quote, so.
They did a really good job there at the cenotaph and
What was the verdict on the
Cemetery.
tree
cemetery too.
at the medical center?
That it's a very healthy tree.
It's a healthy tree?
It's a healthy tree?
Very healthy tree.
Okay. All right.
And the trimming at the cenotaph, I mean, it's not mentioned in here, but that mural,
Yep.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very subtle, but very nice.
Okay, we're good with that, we're good with the add-on?
Yeah, slightly over, but that's not bad for the extra work you did.
Nothing, okay. Number 5, bylaw enforcement officer reports for August and July. Anybody?
The only thing that I hadn't heard anything about in July's report, the vandalism at the washroom at the concession stand.
Oh, she got that in there.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about
Oh,
that, that's all I'm
oh,
saying,
okay.
that I didn't know about that,
Oh.
that's all.
Yep.
Kids being real stupid.
Yeah,
We now have cameras on the ball field as well.
sorry, Tammy? You have-
We have cameras on the ball field now as well.
Yeah.
I just hadn't heard about it, it's
It's-
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I don't know, are we gonna be opening those, we opened up those washrooms again after we installed the new toilets, or are they still closed?
They get
That's what it
opened
turns.
when the ball field is being used.
Used, okay,
They don't stay open
Stay
all
open.
summer.
yeah. now that you have cameras, it may be something you want to consider, but of course, that's the difficulty when you have things sort of left open and unattended, but hopefully, cameras may serve as a deterrent.
A bit of a
from-
deterrent, I think you're right, I think they are a deterrent, yeah.
It's always a common issue whenever you have open public areas, that sometimes they attract a bit of trouble, so.
Vandalism on Alberta Street. Any results on that, or any, we find out what happened there, or?
I think it was, again, similar, the same individuals that were involved in the washroom or,
Yeah. It's unfortunate
yeah.
Yeah.
that we have that in our community,
Yeah.
because there were some brand new windows there, I think, that were broken indoors.
Oh, really?
Oh.
But nice report, thanks for the detail.
Yeah,
No, seriously.
Yep,
very nice.
yep. And of course, anything, right, that you require further information on, we can
Yeah.
have a closed session debrief when needed.
Yeah,
Move on down to number 6, Recreation and Festivals Committee meeting, August of '23. I look at the recommendations and I kind of agree with every one of them. I mean, we'll have to work some times out on the yard sale and
Yeah, there was some,
yeah,
festivals.
maybe you guys wanna talk about that.
there was some discussion about going back to a longer festival, which I kind of discouraged, because it had only been 1 year trying it at a shorter festival,
Well,
so you
that's
can't
right.
really judge it based on one, so I think it'll stay at the 4 days, and then just gotta jimmy things around to make it work.
Well, and that was.
Some things didn't work, some things, I don't know, some things may never work that you want to try to do. I suggested the parade not every year, if it's not a big hit. Everyone didn't seem highly opposed to it, so.
How was the parade? Because that was one thing I didn't get a
It
chance
sounds like
to-
it was
up
not
down?
well attended.
That was some of the
And there was no
feedback I
floats,
got, was
yeah.
that the
There was
parade,
no
there- nobody
floats there.
really, I know that I think the route was
Yeah, the route
posted
changed,
online, and
The
there
old,
was some people kind of standing by in places where it was not going, and people moving around. I didn't get a lot of good feedback on the parade, but. And then the yard sales, there was some
yeah,
comments about the yard
It
sales.
conflicted with something else, but I mean,
But that was the only.
it's better to have too much stuff happening than not enough.
Oh, exactly.
That's my
The
theory on
feedback I
that,
got
yeah.
was just on those two.
Yeah.
there were
Too
a few
small.
old, old cars in that parade, like, that's opportunity for them to get out and
Yeah,
show their cars off, and the senior of the year got to have a ride and wave to the crowd.
that was nice.
Yeah, she really enjoyed that. Rose, yeah. Had a,
I was really nervous, scared about the Legion having their chicken dinner there that day, and they were sold out.
Yeah.
You know, so some things you don't think is gonna.
yeah.
It went well. Like the whole festival, the 4 days went well, and we knew going into it, and both everybody that was involved with it, the committee, Beth Ann, Evan, you
All the
guys,
staff,
the
yeah.
counselors, the staff. It went over great, but we knew it was going to have to be tweaked because it was our first time
Yeah.
in 4 days. And I heard nothing but positive about it, and yeah, we got to tweak it, and I think the committee came up with most of the main things that got to be tweaked, so.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. If we got to tweak something else, we'll tweak it.
Believe it or not, we had food vendors approaching us that day saying, mark me down for next year and call me because we missed the boat, we should have been here.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone really loved the Saturday.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
So
day.
they were talking
It was a
about
great day.
jigging the time a little bit to start it a little later and then have it going more into the afternoon and just keep everything down there, have a local band play that night and not move anyone anywhere and then call it a day type of thing.
Yeah, that location is perfect.
Yeah.
Well, especially with the tent, that
Yeah.
Public Works setup.
Which I think is
Man,
the
that
right
was
way
just,
to go
that
with
was,
that.
you couldn't have had better.
And just the music going on through the whole thing.
It was still going pretty good. We kind of had to shut it down, and because it was like there was.
Yeah, I think
Band
people
and
just
play.
would have stayed there.
Yeah.
Would have stayed there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had sent something through the email, and I think, Tammy, you thinking the next meeting, we're going to have the final budget numbers for Heritage Days?
That wasn't me that answered.
Oh, sorry,
that's
Marlene,
Marlene.
was that, sorry, Marlene.
No, that's okay. I would think it would probably be at the earliest, the October 10th meeting, if not the 20. I think it's probably more likely the 26th because we're waiting for MasterCard receipts to post those receipts to the general ledger.
Okay.
But I did get confirmation that the last one was received today, so yesterday.
Okay, so by October 2023. But give us some ideas about moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, we're just being self-serving, but I thought the event was really good.
Yeah, I think we could see the investment we made in our downtown really paid off.
Really paid off, yeah.
It's looking good around there, and it's a perfect location. I know we discussed it, Nathan. It's a perfect location for a party, for a town party. So it's only going to get better.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna have brand new washrooms next year. No, but seriously, I mean, we're making improvements all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7, building permits and demolition permits report. July and August.
There's July and August, your busier months.
Really, eh?
Well, you know, there's a
busy
lot that
summer.
happens that sometimes isn't captured, but
Is anybody, we're good? Okay, Aqua, describe the water and wastewater treatment systems report. Anything jump out at you, Tammy?
No, actually, it looked really good. I'm just watching the chemical costs, but other than that, the call-outs were all normal and nothing jumped off the page at me.
Yeah, the chemical costs are.
Yeah. Yeah. But your
unfortunately-
filter efficiencies, because that study is still going on, right, Tam?
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, considering that we know that the water level's been dropping and there's other stuff going on, the numbers are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the price of chemicals. The price of doing business.
Well, that's more ammunition for us for funding for wastewater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
We had we had a virtual meeting yesterday with Patty,
Yeah.
Nathan and myself, and she said she'll get back to us and we'll hold her to it.
Yeah.
She's gonna talk to a few people, whatnot.
Good.
That's all you can do, right?
Yep. Okay, number 9, renovations at the municipal office.
Do you want to fill them in, Nathan? You want me to fill them in?
Yeah,
Sure
I
everyone
mean-
knows
I mean,
the gist of it. No? No?
Yeah.
Okay, never
Fill us
mind.
in.
I can, if you want.
you can go ahead.
So we all sat in the dunk tank there during Heritage Days to raise money for the renovations for room 124 because Nathan and Evan and I think Beth Ann was at the meeting, sat with Emma who runs North Shore Dance to find her like a permanent space to keep her in Schreiber so she can run the program out of Schreiber. So Nathan suggested room 124. It's carpeted, obviously, so we would need to remove the carpet and replace it. Now Emma has a used floor in Thunder Bay from an old dance studio, so I think Evan just is looking for direction to go out and maybe get quotes so this work can get done so she can start running the program here in Schreiber, which I think is super important to keep it in Schreiber. She's a Terrace Bay resident. She wants to run it in Schreiber. She ran it in Schreiber last year. She's got a lot of kids that go to it. Her recital sold out the gym, 300 people in town to watch it. I really think it's a benefit to our community and the kids in the community if we get this going.
And it's recreation.
And it's recreation, yeah.
Okay, so let's just take one step back then. So why not in the gym?
I
That's
think
just- it's
because
just a question.
ideally
I
she
think I
wants to
know.
have mirrors up and make it like a dance studio, right? It's too
Oh.
big of a space. That's way too much of a shared space in comparison to room 124, right? Like there's the senior walking, there's curling, there's all sorts of things. I'd ideally like to see like a kids drop in stuff after school or something there one day too, but the gym is probably, it's not a permanent solution, right?
So room 124 now is open, it's available for you to be able to say, okay, that's your room for your dance, and that's what we're going to leave it as.
Well, it
Right.
has to be a multi-purpose room.
It has still
yeah.
have to be that.
It's always gonna be required for drive tests as well as potentially for training, so.
Okay, because so I saw the sign as I walked in. Okay,
But her
so-
stuff is not invasive to the point where they can't do
Yeah.
a drive test thing out of there. And whatever.
Exactly, like the flooring is gonna have no impact
No.
on drive test or anything. The mirrors could be an issue if there's testing, but that's why part of what we're planning is to come up with some sort of way to cover the mirrors, whether through curtains or lines, whatever, but a way to cover up the
Yeah.
mirrors would then just make it appear as a regular meeting room.
Okay,
I mean, if she has a ballet bar, that could be moved to the side, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
okay.
So I'm just looking for council's approval to give Evan the go-ahead to
To
get a quote and get it started.
So he'll get the quotes and then it'll come back to us.
For the for
I
the
mean,
financial
if
impact.
If it's not over a certain amount, does it come back to us?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in general, right, he can look for some quotes for an estimate, but keep in mind when it comes to the purchasing of, or getting into those contracts, you'll have to make sure it follows your procurement policy, so.
Right.
If it does, for instance, come back at over 25,000, right, then
Then yeah,
you have to go.
don't.
The what you say, yeah, so it depends on the total, whatever we end up looking at total pricing, and then you'll have to follow a procurement policy for that. Keep in mind, because we haven't budgeted it in this year, if you wanna go ahead with it this year, you wanna look at potentially then covering it with your rec reserve.
Right. Okay.
So I think the goal is to try to see what we can fit in as much as possible with this rec reserve to cover it.
She's got big classes. She's got a lot of students. I think it's another great form of recreation, really, and something for our young people.
Or 2 classes of my daughter's age group are already sold out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
We've used that room over the years for lunches as well.
Yep.
And with the carpet in there, it's tougher to keep it clean.
And she's not asking to convert the whole thing to a dance floor.
Right.
It's
I mean,
going to
she
be
wo-
sections off,
She
right?
works during the
And-
day. She's not going to be sitting in there all day, right?
No.
Yeah, and stuff.
Like the whole carpet is gonna come out and it's all
Yeah.
gonna be it's all gonna be dance floor, right?
It's my assumption.
Correct.
I would have a conversation with Emma about how much she actually has of the dance floor available to her in Thunder Bay. 'Cause
So-
she has some.
So we talk here about financial impact will be assessed, but I think really to get her in there and say, "Okay, what are you picturing, right? Like, let's draw a bit of a plan. Yeah. Okay. I think it's a good idea to go ahead. I don't know what the rest of you guys think.
Well, I'm not for it, so it's, go have a look and see what it's gonna cost, and
Yeah, I'd like to
100%.
see the cost for sure.
Gonna have to come back with, follow the,
A plan and
come
some
back
pricing.
with come back with the 3 quotes and then we'll go from there. Like, I've heard she's got the flooring. I don't know the square footage of the room or anything. I don't know how much flooring she's got. I don't know what kind of flooring she has.
Exactly, we'll have to look into all of
Yeah.
it. Can we reuse?
Just the
definitely
fact that it needs to
Yeah.
To
go.
move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move
Get
forward.
it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's win-win to keep the
Because I
option.
can
Get someone in there and you don't have to kick anybody else out, it's win-win.
I can tell you, you guys aren't gonna believe this, I came around the corner that day, they had the recital here. I came around the corner up there and there was cars from one end of the street to the other, parked up against the fence at the ball field, parked everywhere, and I go, holy shit, the mayor's in trouble, because I don't know what's going on.
And again, she's choosing to do it all in Schreiber. And I
Yes.
don't wanna have any sort of situation where she chooses
To
to
do it
maybe
somewhere
change
else.
her mind.
Yes.
So I'd like this to go as easy as possible for her.
Mhm.
Because this is, I think, is a huge asset for the whole community.
Excellent.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, so move on to communications. Number 3, the Ministry of Health, that was definitely good to see. I mean, there's a few of yous didn't know the result. I don't think I got the result out to yous, but Dave ran with it and he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And
Definitely helpful.
it was, he just told us to sit aside, and he was gonna try. And they did it diplomatically with the other group, and everything worked out, so.
That's awesome.
It's right back to norm, to what it
Definitely
is.
very good news.
So
Very
we're
good
gonna
news.
have 2 full-time positions in Schreiber.
Yeah.
Nothing is
Nothing's
changing.
changing.
Nothing is gonna change.
Nothing's gonna change.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that was good. I like the update on number 5. I like the update on Superior Country,
Country,
the
yes.
North Shore cruise ship.
Yeah, nothing coming in to Schreiber.
No, but funny enough, right, there's some, next year in the fall, going to Rossford, there's quite a bit going to Rossford.
Crossport, yeah, they've only been going to Battle Island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean,
This one says, this is for next year.
This is for next year. Rossford gives us a
Crossport,
shot.
Crossport, Battle Island.
well, no, it's a work in progress. I
Yeah.
mean, they're going to, like Anne Marie says, they're going to Rossport, so, okay, they're going to the Rossports.
Yeah, they may
I
wanna,
wonder if we grab onto some kind of the
Movement to Schreiber for a
handy
little
transit bus
session.
or something.
Yeah,
they-
Bus them to the
they may
museum.
wanna
Yeah.
come see what's going on in Schreiber.
Like, there's always, be thinking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and we have an economic development committee meeting tomorrow night for sure, so we'll look at, and we've got a full year out to
Yeah.
try and see what we wanna do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Superior Country is a good resource for us. And-
Yes.
And we had Dan Bevilacqua was at our last meeting, and he laid it all out, what could happen, and so, I mean, there are opportunities.
Opportunities, yeah.
No, I think it's a great resource to try and get in on.
But one of the original thoughts were they were gonna submarine down to the Gadilda, but according to Superior Country, they couldn't get permission, government permission to go down.
Right.
It's a restricted site.
I don't know how long the period of waiting is gonna be for submersibles to be a marketable thing too.
It's tough stuff.
Yeah. And the lake, that, Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, Lake Superior Round Table, that, you're going to that, right, Dan?
Yeah, I missed the first meeting, but it is,
But you're taking care of that one?
yeah, and
Excellent.
just a little background, or just something they did send off, talking about 14, there are 14 caribou ranges in Ontario, and one that is close to us is the Lake Superior Caribou Range. And it's a 10-kilometer wide stretch along the shoreline from Terrace Bay to south of Lake Superior Provincial Park.
Hmm.
And all islands offshore to 28 kilometers, including Mishpicotna Island, Slade Islands. The range is unique due to its small size, linear shape. So they're always trying to get away from predators, so that's why they're on the islands. And some of the numbers that they sent over were the populations, and this is the Slade Island population going back in 2020, where it was 29 to 31. Have you been out there lately? Are there
I haven't, but I've heard that they're seeing more out there.
more on the
now.
Slade Islands?
Yeah. Yeah.
Caribou Island, 22 to 26, and that was in 2022, and on the main line, approximately 50.
Hmm.
And that's probably down along the south part. That's where they would be. So, anyway, I'll have more information when I attend the meeting, so that should be in October.
And number 10, resolution support.
Yeah, that's following what a lot of the movement seems to be, even from D7, several other groups, right? It's saying, okay, the province has come up, as a region we're coming up. They're really chasing after more federal support, especially where it comes into low-income housing. So that's what a lot of that's about. And the resolution that they printed up is perfect.
Mhm.
So then everyone's in agreement to do the whole resolution using the template.
I would think.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm
Yeah.
We'll have to read all
Yeah.
that.
To read the 2 pages.
They've covered
Definitely,
everything.
Gee whiz.
No,
Just
they've covered, no, I read through it, it's good.
Yeah.
And I mean, we wanna seem united on this front,
Oh, no.
for sure.
Sorry,
Yeah.
three
This is
pages.
housing.
I,
I
It's
wanna
3
see
pages.
Mooney read it though.
Well, it'll be good, that everyone's informed, that
Alternate-
we are concerned about low-income housing. It's an issue.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta bring my reading
If
glasses.
you didn't want to read it, alternatively, you'd have to wait for another neighboring community to pass this and then.
No.
Or you can do a resolution of support for that resolution number, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got a big bottle of water for that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's, no, I think it's an important resolution, I read through it, I
No,
think it's
no,
very
for
important.
sure.
For sure.
Okay. We're good then? We have no unfinished business, so we move on to other business. Number 1 is the Township Christmas Social.
Thanks for laying out some of the needs there, Cecile.
We just need to think about these items, correct?
Well,
Do we decide?
You're gonna
very
wanna
quick.
set your date and
Yeah.
get for caterers and music right away, but we can't do that unless we know what you wanna do.
well, cause I'm usually the one that's hammering about money, I thought maybe we could make a change, but then I remembered that correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, the point behind this Christmas social is also a thank you to the volunteers, am I right? Okay, and yeah, I'm not gonna jam you up on the money.
And recognition to employees.
And recognition to our employees, yeah, so I'm not, yeah, we're good.
And it's something that, you know, everyone from employees to even volunteers are also, what you say, they're also chipping in, right, with the tickets to help keep the costs down, so.
Are
So,
you thinking in terms of like the full dinner or doing?
Yeah, I was
something
thinking
else?
about making it more of an appetizer and
Yeah.
wine and cheese kind of event, but then I thought,
Yeah.
they're probably gonna start saying, she squeaks when she
Well, I
walks.
mean,
So, I better not.
Appetizers are great. Yeah. But no, that's not
No, cause I just was, then I stopped and thought, this is an appreciation, right?
Yeah, the
Okay,
dinner
then.
was, and the dinner was good last year.
And honestly, I appreciate everything the staff does and our volunteers do, so.
so Terrace Bay did the 8th.
Terrace Bay on the date, confirmed.
Okay, so I'm making an assumption here, the 9th will be Filene's.
That weekend is Feline Showdown.
Okay, so now we go back and we got the Friday the 1st or Saturday the 2nd, or we move
To
the other way towards Christmas.
Middle of the month.
And that's when lots of people are going shopping, right?
I think the first or the second.
So
Friday or Saturday?
we always do it, we've always done it on a Friday, so we're looking at the 1st.
Yeah.
Not now, I'm saying we've always did it on a Friday, I'm not one of those guys, I'm for change. If people wanna do it Saturday, I'm good with that.
What's the difference?
Sunday morning. Let's have our breakfast. Okay. Friday
Working-
night or Saturday night?
What do working people prefer, Friday or Saturday? Like
Working people.
Saturday?
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 Saturday.
Staff,
Yeah, I mean, ask the staff.
From my perspective, I like Friday,
Cecile?
but
Any-
I'm just one.
I just don't, how much staff do you need there that day, cause then you're gonna be looking at
Yeah, that's true.
overtime.
Overtime.
If you need staff there on Saturday to help you prepare,
Did we have staff there last year?
That's a good
yeah,
point.
but it was on a Friday, the
Yeah.
staff was working.
Yeah, so we did have staff there working.
Okay,
So Friday,
Friday it is.
Okay, and full view,
you working people,
Yeah, suck it
I'll
up.
probably be
I
fine.
would-
Sit around playing hockey anyway.
Friday the 1st.
Okay.
So then we're gonna move down to the food options.
Food.
We, pretty much what I heard was we're not the appetizers,
Yeah,
not
I
just
agree.
appetizers.
take the dinners.
I would, like, we're gonna put it out to about 4 or 5 caterers, I assume.
Yeah,
we put out the same ones as last year, yeah.
And,
Well, no, you have a couple of new businesses in town. There are new caterers you're gonna wanna vote, for sure. There's one for sure you're gonna wanna send a quote to.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay, then send me their names, cause I don't know who you're talking about, so.
Okay, I'll make sure I get that name off to you then.
What was I gonna say now?
Do we want a full dinner?
Yes, okay, everybody, cost of living is going up in a whole bit, the prices are getting up there, we upped our price last year and the whole bit. And now, I don't know if we went with don't shoot me, I don't know if we went with a traditional turkey, would that be any cheaper? A traditional turkey dinner, of course. Would that be cheaper than what they do?
And a s'more,
And then a s'morg, or, yeah,
You think traditionally that is less expensive? What did we have last year, is it?
s'more,
A s'more?
s'morg.
you can ask for quotes for both.
And it wasn't, like, I'm not
Yeah, I
saying,
like that.
Terrace Bays wasn't crazy, or Schreiber's wasn't crazy, it was just, like, they're about the same, but it's the cost of living, and we put, I can't remember, I think we put ours up $10, and it still never met
Not even close.
half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can you get the caterers to
You can
give
ask
us
for
a,
both, you can ask for quotes for both.
on a s'morg and
Yeah.
then just a traditional
Yeah.
turkey?
Yep,
Yeah, I
Sound-
think that's
sound like
a
a
good
good
idea,
idea?
get a quote on both.
yep.
Okay,
Sure.
Yeah.
quote and choice. And just as a reminder, what did we pay for tickets last year?
20.
20?
We upped it to 20 last year, I believe.
20 or 25?
I believe we upped it to 20.
20, this year is probably gonna be 25.
We went from 15 to 20 last year.
I thought we went bigger. We'll know, we just have to look back. But
So do we wait for the quotes to come in? Is that their thinking? Wait for the quotes and then see if you have to raise the price or not?
You're likely gonna be 25,
Okay,
to stick within what you budgeted.
well, yes. And I think, Marlene, it was you that provided those budget numbers to me, right?
For what you spent last year, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were over, but not like crazy over. Last year we had budgeted 5,200 and it came in actually at 67. But it was a nice dinner, a nice evening. We had a big crowd.
Good music.
Yeah.
We had a live DJ and he was good. I would suggest that we go that way.
So that's the
Yeah.
next thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would go that way.
he did a good job. We get the same DJ.
And then the next thing was the decorations. I think that was an issue last year, right? Because I think the same thing, we didn't have any.
We don't have a lot of our own decorations.
No.
We have to purchase them, like rent them. So, we have to just, basically, get quotes on it.
Okay.
But, like, we got quite a bit of things provided, right, last year. It was even the,
Tablecloth.
tablecloths, the table setup and all of that.
I think the
It looked
decor
amazing.
was really nice
Yeah,
last year.
it
And
looked
a
really
lot of
amazing.
it was done in-house.
And yeah, I was gonna say, didn't the seniors do the centerpieces last year? Am I thinking of the wrong thing? I must be.
Well, the seniors said.
They
They had their
they're-
own, they had their own Christmas.
Okay.
So they'll have, I think they're having their, yeah, we're having their own dinner this year.
Have you picked a date? Have they picked a date?
I
6,
think so.
6,
Did we, 10?
December 6th.
7, 6, I probably wrote it down somewhere.
Okay.
And then last, planning.
Well, that's always the junior counselors, right, Dave?
I think so.
Well, it hasn't been an individual council for a number of
It's
years.
been all of us.
It's been all of council for a number of years now.
Keyword council, not mayor.
So just thought if you wanted to have one individual that was the contact, point of contact.
Sure.
There we go.
There you
Benji.
go.
Didn't have to get the coin out this time.
No.
Okay, is that all you need for tonight then? And
Yep.
I can
Excellent.
do what you gotta do and then the next meeting or the meeting
get going
after,
on it.
get
Yeah.
back to us, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
number 2, the Schreiber wastewater electrical upgrades.
Oh, boy.
So, got a recommendation here. The council of the Township of Schreiber enter into a service agreement with Automation Now in the amount of $910,082 plus applicable taxes. It's a substantial contract. Looking at the report, right, it's a substantial portion of it is going to be covered with OCAF funding. Now, again, there are some assumptions and disclaimers here that the OCAF funding, of course, is going to continue up until 2026. Correct me if I'm saying anything incorrect here, Marlene. And then after that, right there, we have the hope that potentially the province may continue this program. And of course, again, the allocation is given to us each year. I mean, so we're hoping that they don't change the formula for the OCAF contributions. That being said, you know, this is something that a lot of municipalities have heavily started to lean on again to bring in funding. Where the disclaimer part comes in is you just never know in the future if they say you can't use it for core infrastructure or anything like that. So that's where we're hoping that OCF can continue to fund. Now, there is a portion of the funding that won't be funded through OCAF. Marlene, it's the 148,000?
No.
No.
So our 2023 actual allocation from OCIF was the 148,297. The report before you is being estimated with the estimate, the assumption is that the 24, 25, and 26 will remain at the 148,297. We won't know what the 2024 allocation is until probably likely late October, early November. And they only give you the upcoming year's allocation. They don't commit to the other years. But what we know is through the bylaw, the funding agreement bylaw, the funding at this point is committed until 2026. So the assumptions as well are that the project will be completed at December the 31st of 2024. And what we would be using the deferred revenue from 23 and the allocation for 2024 to reduce the total net cost of the 910,000. So that would leave us with a capital borrowing of 426,000 that we would need for the completion of the project in 2024.
That's given that we
These-
don't find any additional problems and that these prices are stuck and
Yeah.
there's cement and they can't be changed,
Yeah.
which, and I think Tammy would agree with me, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna find more problems.
Touch the clock, touch the clock.
100% finding more
Touch the
problems in
wood.
that building.
I'll start
And I think
Our building's how,
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, you,
Let's be honest.
that there could be change orders, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's gonna be change orders. We've got, right now, a bill for 900,000, and we've got approximately 400 covered.
ish.
So we're on the hook for the rest. We're gonna borrow.
That's right. So,
And just so that people are aware, this is for the electrical upgrades. This is
Electrical.
not anything else but the electrical, right, Tam?
Right,
But the only way to freeze these prices is to get going soon.
yep.
I think that's and I don't know off the top of my head, but the original quotes from July of 19, I think it was, were much lower than where it is right
Mhm.
now. So that's why the recommendation is to go ahead and lock in the amount at this point in time. Worst case scenario is the second last paragraph.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose there's a worst case than that, but I'm gonna go with the Pollyanna, that they're gonna maintain the
Nope.
funding from 24 to 26 at the 148. And as soon as we know what it is that they're, committing for 24, we will we will update council for that. But in the event that the assumptions are all end up, and you went with the 5-year borrowing term, it would mean that the borrowing would be 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Okay, but what, 24 to 29? Okay?
No, if you,
Yeah,
it would be 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's your 5-year term,
so 25 to 29, okay,
right?
5
And
years.
if the funding is only guaranteed until 2026 at the 148,297,
We're
we
gonna
would
have
have
to borrow.
we would have depleted our OCIF funding in 2028 with an unfunded amount of 88,270. And then the 2029 payment, the full amount of that repayment of the 96,000 would have to be funded in 29.
Okay,
In a utopia that they say that they're gonna continue the funding at the 148 through to 2029, it will cover the full amount of the payback.
okay, but today, we cannot assume that. We can't
We
make that
cannot.
assumption. So, worst case, the funding ends in 2024. We're probably
26.
26, sorry. So we're gonna have to borrow how much? We might as well plan it now. We borrow how much?
Well, you would have already borrowed, right?
So
'Cause
what would we have already borrowed?
426.
426?
Yeah, And so if you look under in the table, it has the total cost of borrowing under
Yep.
the 5-year term is $481,080
Yep.
estimated. Your annual payment is $96,216 under that term and that estimated interest rate.
Okay.
So that's the first column on the table in the report.
Right.
Which is a good rate.
I was very surprised at that rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, rates can change by the time you go to borrow on your project. Who knows what they are gonna be like, but all you can do is base it on this point in time. So what will happen is, you're gonna borrow the money to fund the entire amount of the money.
Yeah.
It's gonna show as
We are.
capital borrowing, like it'll show as capital borrowing, and then every year from 25 to 29, if you choose the 5-year, you're gonna be budgeting that repayment, that 96,000 each year in your expenses, but you're gonna be showing your revenue, your OCIF revenue for your payback. And it's gonna
Okay.
equal out
Okay. Gotcha.
unless the funding stops for 2027.
Right. Or we
Right.
come, or the project, we have additional.
Or it costs more money, exactly, or there's more interest payments or
Okay.
whatever, but, yeah.
Gotcha. I don't, but let me just say this, I'm assuming, because as I've read through all of this, you had sent us information earlier last year, I think, about this is not something that's optional,
The alternative is the plant shuts down.
right? This is,
Or
that's it.
Or gets
This
shut
is it.
down. Or we're.
It has to get done. And this is not even the output problems in the UV project, this is just getting the electrical up to date.
Yeah.
To put this into context, right, at the time, we had the decor issue that was presented, and then soon after, we had the electrical upgrades also. We tried to put it under, as one project, because they interrelate to some degree. You need to fix the electrical in order to move on to the UV, right? And the problem with grouping everything together is it's good in a sense when you're trying to get a grant, but when we applied for the ICIP Greenstream grant and we didn't get that grant, we were left in a dilemma. How do you continue? So with the dechlor, we had this temporary solution with the sodium thiosulfate to get the chlorine out when we need to do the chlorination. But the electrical upgrades, that was left as a project that we had to start as soon as possible.
Mhm.
So in order to hope and potentially fund it, what happened is we requested for them to break down that, it was about 600, 700, I forget the cost at the time, into phases, so
Yeah.
that, okay, we
That's what I
started
was
phase
reading.
1, but hopefully we can get phase 2, phase 3 funded down the road, right? Because once you start a project, you won't get it funded under a grant. Unfortunately, right, ESA is looking for progress on this, and they want everything to move very quickly. So why do you have to do it now? ESA is not going to give you much time. Number 2, fortunately, our OCF allocation has doubled, allowing it to be a potential revenue source to cover it outside of a typical grant. This is, of course, conditional transfer in this case, but it's allowing us to actually utilize it in a means to cover it. Unfortunately, when we're looking at what's eligible, it is covering
Yeah, it is.
interest and loan payments, which isn't usually always something that can be covered. So with all that information, this seems to be the right solution for this potential grant when it comes to finding a revenue source and for this project. And that's why the intent is, why not lock this in now with this price, and then you're not hammered down the road with inflation, and also it keeps ESA happy. So there's a lot of check marks in terms of the logic to move ahead with this.
And if we have to borrow, then we have to borrow.
Yep.
But just to remember, once we start this, you're quite right, there's no other, you can't go back now. I guess here's my last point of concern, is are they expecting, Tammy, that you're going to manage this
No,
in your day-to-day activities? Because I
Right.
think that's
Yeah.
not respectful at all.
no, Aqua's gonna be project manager on that.
We have already entered a, I believe it's a
And-
$20,000 contract with Aqua Project
Yes.
Management years ago.
And so that's part of what we're currently paying Aqua, or we're paying an extra amount now because of this project?
No, we've already entered.
So we've
the-
entered into that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, that's already done.
Excellent. Thanks, Nathan.
Pardon?
It's not for the operating
No, it was
maintenance.
over and above.
Okay,
I think when we first started looking at the electrical part, it was 550.
yeah,
And now, because of like prices, I
happened and
guess I
prices.
don't have to say it, everything has just gone through the roof.
yeah,
I think, we don't have a choice here.
no,
We don't
No.
have a choice here, and I think everybody involved in putting these numbers together and everything like that, you've done a great job and all
Yeah.
that. And I just, we don't have a choice.
we
gotta
don't have a
go
choice,
with
no,
it.
it needs to be done.
It's only gonna get worse.
Yeah,
It just, the standards of things change, and as you noticed, regulation has been a driver for spending money, and unfortunately, the standards for when this plant was built was in the 70s.
well, and then they went, we went with the bagging system too,
Yeah.
and the bagging system, in my point of view, the bagging system causes a lot of moisture. A lot of moisture is causing a lot of electrical.
Yes,
So when they're gonna put the electrical into that little C-can that you see down there, the main electrical components. So we're defeating that issue too.
right, we're taking care of that.
So,
Yeah.
it was great and everything, but it come back to bite us.
We
That's
were
the
in-
way I look at
yeah,
it.
we
Maybe
were-
I'm,
We were in Red Rock, the mayor and I, a couple of months ago, and the cost of, they just put a new plant in their town,
I know,
$26 million, so.
geez
that's-
Louise.
That's, if you can't fix it, then you're looking at,
Mm-hmm,
no, it's,
you're looking
yeah.
at a lot of money. So, fix it, I guess, and
Yeah.
that's the answer for now.
No, I believe, we gotta go through with
Yeah.
this for sure.
Yeah.
but thanks for running the numbers, Marlene, and thanks for the quote, Pam. I just wanted to, there was just nothing in there, I kind of figured that was the answer, but I wanted to make sure we're not throwing more work onto your desk, that's
No,
crazy.
Yeah.
no.
And
Okay.
thanks for the explanation.
Yeah. Okay,
So we're giving them to go into a service agreement.
Yeah.
For that amount. Bring it forward.
Also, thank you to Kim behind the scenes, she did really help out with this
Mhm.
substantially, so.
okay,
Okay.
thanks, Pam.
Okay, so that's the last item on the agenda. I didn't write anything up, but I mean, this is our last meeting with, our last scheduled meeting
Scheduled meeting.
with Nathan. The town's been very, very fortunate to have Nathan here for the 5 years that we've had him. And when I got the phone call from Nathan that he was resigning and moving closer to family, only 2 hours away, and he told me a little about the job and all that. I couldn't blame him, but I was still mad. Sometimes I wake up mad still. But anyway, it's been a pleasure working with him. He's gotten us, he was the main, everybody was a player in getting us through COVID. Especially with what went down with our previous mayor, right in the middle of COVID. And the team came together here and we got through COVID. And Nathan was one of the main players in it. And he was, I mean, we can go back to, and I don't want to, but we can go back to candidates night when we didn't do anything. But Nathan was instrumental in getting the museum built getting the splash pad going, and just so many things have happened. Like even the last 2 years. This last year, you sit down, and I sat down the other night thinking of what we've done, and I know we've had a rough year in other areas, but I look back and Jesus, there's been a lot accomplished in this town too, and you get a lot accomplished when you work better as a team, and we're headed that way, and I think we're headed that way because Nathan has supplied us. He's been instrumental in getting us thinking that way, and it's going to be hard to see him go, but at the same time, we wish him well. And if anybody else wants anything to say, I won't close the meeting yet, if anybody else wants to.
Well, as a newer council this term, as a newer councillor, I don't know how you feel, Benji, but you've been super helpful. No, he's been super helpful in helping us get settled in and figure out what our role is. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan. Many times your ideas that you come up with, you put things in perspective for us, and you're not always, I know you're looking at the day-to-day stuff that's ongoing, but the big picture, that is also very important, and you can see the big picture and in what direction we should go to achieve it. So I appreciate that, and all the best to you and everything in your future.
I want to thank all of council very much for these last few years. All of you were a pleasure to work with, and I'm just so happy when I look at all that we've been able to achieve together, and total contribution that we've been able to do for a small community. We have a population of 1,000 people. When you look at services and the ideas and the drive for volunteers to keep so many great things going, I'm always astonished. So we're small, but I think we make a big impact on the North Shore. So
thank you.
And in the meantime, we have, again, I don't know where to look, but in the meantime, we have Rosalie Evans. She's going to be filling in, not on a 5-day basis, but she's going to be filling in on a 1 or 2 day basis when Nathan leaves next week, and she's fully qualified. So we're looking forward to working with her too.
Perfect.
So with that, Resolution 301-23, moved by Councillor Morrow, second by Councillor Bergeau, that the meeting now adjourn at 8:28 p.m. All those in favor?